Hello, Rays. KJ here out on my deck. So I thought I'd do a pre-record and name it All Rays on Deck. What do y'all think? Snazzy, huh? Well, OKJ's going to share with y'all a stipulation, a legal document between Jodi Hillebrand and the Division of Professional Licensing, Department of Commerce, i.e. the state of Utah there. I'm going to read it into the record so that y'all can put your comments down on this pre-record and tell me what you think, all right? In the matter of the license of Jodi Nan Hillebrand to practice as a clinical mental health counselor in the state of Utah, this legal document is called a non-disciplinary limitation, a stipulation, and order, okay? Jodi Nan Hillebrand and the Division of Professional Licensing of the Department of Commerce of the state of Utah stipulate and agree as follows. Number one, and I'm not going to use the respondent word. I'm going to use Jodi's name. It just sounds better, right? Jodi admits the jurisdiction of the division over Jodi and over the subject matter of this action. And by the way, y'all, this is from Stephen Oler, who is the Assistant Attorney General. And that name, Sean Reyes, the Utah Attorney General, y'all. I mean, folks, Sean Reyes is good friends with Tim Ballard. He was supposed to come out and endorse him as for Senate and the Congress. Wonder if he's going to continue to do that. And here, Sean Reyes, the Attorney General of Utah, is entering into a stipulation with Jodi Hillebrand. You think that these political figures aren't trying to sweep up a few things for the church? I think so, y'all, but that's just my opinion. Number two, Jodi acknowledges that the respondent enters into this stipulation knowingly and voluntarily. So this wasn't the prosecutor in this case of her and Ruby Frank sitting down with her entering into the stipulation. This is Sean Reyes, y'all, and Stephen Oler of the Attorney General's office that's entering into this through the Division of Professional Licensing, Department of Commerce. Number three, Jodi understands that she has the right to be represented by counsel in this matter, and Jodi's signature below signifies that she has either consulted with an attorney or she's waived her right to counsel in the matter. Number four, Jodi understands that by signing this document, Jodi knowingly and intelligently waives the right to all administrative and judicial reviews as set forth in Idaho Code, and they list several, right? So what this is basically saying is she's reviewed it, and instead of going and doing all these steps that we have to do according to Idaho Code, she's stipulating. She's going to enter into this with us, right? Jodi and the division hereby express their intent that this matter be resolved expeditiously through stipulation as contemplated. And in Utah Code, there's a way they can stipulate and it be legal, right? So they kind of give an idea in the next ones, you know, what this is about, what she would have went through if she wouldn't have agreed to this stipulation. Jodi waives. She says, I'm not going to worry about the right to an issuance of a petition and a notice of agency action in the matter. So she's saying, I'm not going to, I have a right for them to have a petition and this go in front of a board and all this stuff, but I'm waiving that. I'm not going to deal with that. Jodi acknowledges that this stipulation and order is adopted by the director of the division and will be classified as a public document. The division may release this stipulation and order as well as other information about this non-disciplinary action against Jodi's license to other persons and entities. This is a non-disciplinary. So they're saying they're entering into this stipulation They're not punishing her for anything. They're just asking her to give it up voluntarily, which they wouldn't even go there and even offer a stipulation in here if the state of Idaho, of Utah, didn't have a good case against Jodi Hillebrand. I don't believe the Attorney General's office would have even bothered meeting with her for a stipulation if they didn't know the shit's really bad right now, right? So, number 7, Jodi admits the following facts are true. A, that she was first licensed as a clinical mental health counselor in the state of Utah on or about July 7th of 2005. Y'all, that's, 18 years ago? How much has this woman screwed up people's lives in all that time? I pray that everyone that she has mind screwed comes out of the woodwork and takes her butt down and does file for the board of licensing and stuff for her to permanently get her license taken away. And I just want to know why all these damn vehicles want to show up at any other time that I'm doing this shit. They ain't nowhere to be found, but they'll show up when I get on the freaking pre-record. B, on or about August 31st of 2023, Jodi was arrested on suspicion of aggravated child abuse, and Jodi was subsequently charged with 6 counts of aggravated child abuse, all second-degree felonies, and this is in the 5th District Court, case number 231501763. C, Jodi does not herein admit any wrongdoing related to the allegations underlying the arrest and charges described above. And the reason they've got to put that in there is it's got to be known, hey, if we're going to enter into this stipulation, we've got to let everybody know that she's not pleading guilty or saying she's guilty or this or that. She's got to be known that she's not guilty. Innocent until proven guilty. But the bottom line is if she is truly trying to admit that she's done nothing wrong, I'd say little Russell there, who was tied to the floor and had the wounds and the stupid stuff of the honey and the cayenne pepper and all that, having to climb out a window, wasn't being fed, wasn't given water. I think that's about as wrongdoing as it gets, right? But nevertheless, Jodi does not admit any wrongdoing. And she better freaking dang understand that if she don't dang come clean, they're going to nail her ass to the wall. They're going to nail her ass to the wall either way, whether she tries to plead this out or not. She is guilty, pure and simple. Jodi agrees that her license to practice as a clinical mental health counselor in the state of Utah shall be immediately limited, meaning that Jodi shall not practice as a clinical mental health counselor in any way or manner until the allegations underlying the arrest and charges described above have been resolved by Jodi entering into a disciplinary stipulated agreement with the division. A hearing is held. Okay, and then they're saying, after that, they're saying, and this is what happens when she does this, that a hearing is held before the Clinical Mental Health Counselors Licensing Board and findings are issued by the board. Or the division informing Jodi that insufficient evidence exists to pursue disciplinary actions against Jodi's license, which will never happen. Again, for Sean Reyes, who's a good old buddy of Tim Ballard, to enter into a stipulation with this venomous, evil woman, tells me everything I need to know. And C, Jodi understands that the limitation is non-disciplinary in nature and that no finding of unprofessional or unlawful conduct has been made by the division. Well, I'll tell you what, they can't, because The evidence has not been, we've got what we've got as a public, the courtroom of public opinion. Some things are factual. A little boy climbing out a window, deep lacerations, being tied to the floor. Jodi did it. I don't care that Jodi did it. Well, I do care, but you know what I mean. What I'm getting at is that Ruby is the mother of that child. So she's just as guilty as Jodi. Okay, from there, you've got number 8. Jodi's license to practice as a clinical mental health counselor in the state of Utah shall be immediately limited, meaning that Jodi shall not practice as a clinical mental health counselor in any way or manner until the allegations underlying the arrest and charges described in chapter paragraph 7 above are resolved by Jodi entering into a disciplinary stipulated agreement with the division. And they just repeat what they've just said, and I'm not going to go any further because we just said it. Number 9, the stipulation in order is not a finding of unprofessional or unlawful conduct, nor is it disciplinary action against Jodi or Jodi's license. The division may continue to investigate any allegations of unprofessional and unlawful conduct, including the alleged conduct described above, and may take disciplinary administrative action against respondent's license, including undertaking emergency proceedings at any time. So here we go. Again, this is the Attorney General's office with Sean Ray and his Assistant Attorney General. Who's going to contact them? She's been practicing this crap for some time. How many people are going to come out of the woodwork and blow her out of the water even more, even if nobody came forward? The fact that this issue with Ruby Frank's children happened, and they both been charged with 6 counts of child abuse there, the bottom line is she's screwed, and she deserves everything she's going to get. Number 10, Jodi acknowledges that the director is not required to accept the terms of the stipulation and order, and that if the director does not do so, this stipulation and the representations contained therein shall be null and void, except that the division and Jodi waive any claim of bias or prejudgment they might otherwise have with regard to the director by virtue of his having reviewed this stipulation, and this waiver shall survive such nullification. In other words, the director of the one that she would go to the board and they would take her license, like they did years ago, y'all, when she screwed that Adam Steed guy, or whatever his name was, where they suspended her license, then they give it back to her. If that director says, I'm looking at this stipulation, and I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna allow it or whatever, then the director really has say-so over the Attorney General. But they do say that except that the division and Jodi waive any claim of bias or prejudgment. So there you go on that. Now, number 11, this document constitutes the entire agreement between the parties and supersedes and cancels any and all prior negotiations, representations, understandings, or agreements between the parties regarding the subject of this stipulation and order. There are no verbal agreements that modify, interpret, or construe or affect this stipulation. Number 12, if Jodi violates any terms of the condition of this stipulation and order, the division may take action against Jodi, including imposing appropriate sanctions in the manner provided by law. And finally, number 13, Jodi has read and understand each and every paragraph contained in this stipulation and order. Respondent, which is Jodi, has no questions about any paragraph or provision contained in this stipulation order. And there's her signature, y'all, right there. Let's see if y'all can see that. There she is. She is entering into a stipulation, y'all. Don't you find it very interesting that she's entering into it with the Attorney General Sean Ray's who happens to be a good old buddy of Tim Ballard, who was going to endorse a good friend and a patriot. Wonder who that good friend and a patriot is, y'all. We're getting news on this other area with Tim Ballard. We'll go over that another day. I just wanted to put this document on the record that Jodi Hillebrand has indeed, she has given up her license. And no, it wasn't because the state said, if you'll sit down and do this with us, we'll, get you out on October 5th. I think that Sean Reyes and his office saw the writing on the wall and what evidence has been released that they know about. He's the attorney general there, y'all. He is the attorney general. He can see it all if he wants. And he knows she's guilty. And so he's heading it off at the pass in case maybe he knows she's going to get out October 5th. And he don't want it to go any further than it is gone, y'all. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at one time had Jodi Hillebrand on the referral list. The bishops would tell these couples and others, go to Jodi Hillebrand. I don't know that she made her way back on that referral list, but it seems to me that she has absolutely, she's proven a lot of things to me. Maybe you yourself have figured a few things out. Anyway, this was a interesting, was it all rays on deck? There you go, y'all. KJ loves you all. We'll get back together soon. Leave your comments. I want to know what you think of Jodi's little agreement with Sean Reyes, huh? Keep on looking.